this video, we explore some elements in the planning process in greater detail. If you are new to planning, you might be wondering what to expect during a planning session. In addition, you might be wondering what you have to cover during a session and when one should even take place. We will hear from some people with lived experience in this video as well. First, it is very important to consider that the person-centered planning process is dynamic, not static. Let's explore some of those specifics. One is that a planning session should be thought of as the beginning of a conversation about life planning for the focus person. While there will typically be action items for the focus person and their support network to do once the meeting is over, things may, and they inevitably will, change. This is because life is messy, and none of our lives follow a linear process. Jobs are lost, new ones begin. People move into new relationships, and others end. The focus person and their support network should expect things will change and get messy as time goes on. And the plan will thus need to be revised and adjusted accordingly as the focus person's life circumstances change. Related to this first point is the fact that while most typically the person-centered planning takes place during a gathering and is intended to capture a moment in time in the focus person's life, the dynamic process allows for us to be more creative with how we go about doing planning. For example, the support network, or folks that assist the focus person, such as direct support professionals, should be open to having conversations with the focus person during meals, while going out for coffee, while commuting out or going for a walk or a roll, or in any other circumstances. Sometimes if this happens, the support network will notice that the people they support never or very rarely have been asked what they want to do with their lives. How would they like to spend their days? Or what is very important to them? What gets them out of bed in the morning? This process of getting to know the focus person is very important because, as too many of us know, many people with disabilities are supported by many people throughout their lifespan. Long-term staff are very rare. And going back to the circles of support visual aid, most people do not have a great number of people that are very close to them. In short, these moments during planning sessions are very important, but it should not begin or end during that session. It should be an ongoing dialogue that can be renegotiated and discussed often.
I think we're starting to see a change in how we do person-centered planning. In Manitoba, I notice a trend of facilitators understanding that their role goes past just sitting down for an hour with somebody a week before they have a path, and then bringing people together to do a path a week later. I'm starting to see more organizations, the grassroots community-based organizations, investing in having a facilitator on board that walk an ongoing path with someone. That's the change that I would like to see more of moving forward for person-centered planning. Planning effective and successful person-centered planning doesn't happen in one or two visits with someone. It happens over time, slowly working towards that.
Yeah, I think during my times, there's always surprises that even though you might have a group that's familiar with each other, family in the room, that it's neat when the questions are asked that so what are your dreams, or how do you vision yourself in the future? And the surprises that come out and the shock that you see in some of the responses in the room from the others that said, I didn't know that about you. I didn't know that was an interest of yours. Their passions and their interests, whether it be things related to goals of being an astronaut or being in the movies. And it's just shocking for family and friends that are close to each other. And I think that's important thing is asking those questions to kind of get the responses that you might not have known from a person. I think a thing that gets left out a lot of times is the preparation in advance, that sometimes people just feel like we can come together as a planning process and just that day and figure it out from there. But without preparation in the lead-in time, it's hard to really get the proper mindset to figure out those goals and to really have solid, informed, focused discussion. So I think preparation in advance, whether it be the focus person, having those conversations about inviting the right people, who does that person want to invite, and having them in the room and working around that schedule is vital. And I think those things get lost in some of the preparation or some of the goals that I've seen, or some of the meetings that I've seen set up.
It's important to have the person's loved ones, friends, have the key role in it, to really find out what's at the heart of the person, you know? And I worry that having too many social worker, and by that I'm meaning not just the government social worker, but service providers, you know, I think that their presence almost dictates what the person thinks should be said, you know, and people don't want to offend people, you know, and so it can get really awkward. But I think keeping the focus on the person, their family, and their friends, you know, if we can do that, I think that's good. And a sort of related thing would be making sure the right people are there, you know. So if it's in a school situation, have at least a couple of other students there if you can, you know, just so that it will be more personal and meaningful and have more connection to the person's actual lived experience in the school. PATH and MAPS are founded on beliefs about community presence, participation, choice, building competence, building, you know, respect and enhancement of the person. So I don't think you can get too far away from those things. The thing that came to mind was that a plan is not a one-time thing, you know? Like there's the meeting and that's what we sort of think of as the plan. We got together to do the PATH or the MAP, and that was the plan. But the follow-up is like, what, 100% of it, 99% of it is that follow-up. And that's where the people who surround the person, or who are friends or support people, that's where you sort of earn the respect of the person. You do what they've asked, you know, you try to help them get the things that they want in their life. And it shows that you're willing to work, you know, to try and make the things happen that they want. And I think that 99%, that's the follow-up, is just so important, you know, that's really what the plan is.